my name is Patrick Lowe. I'm a broker in the LA market. I primarily have focused on office leasing here. I started my career at CBRE in Austin, Texas, in their research department, covering the office and industrial markets there. So I know those pretty well. I also lived in Texas for about 30 years. So I'm very familiar with that market. I've been in LA for about five. Live on the west side of LA. I live in West Hollywood. So I'm usually sort of between downtown and Santa Monica, as far north as Malibu, as far south as sort of El Segundo, Culver City. And mostly leasing, but I've done some capital markets stuff, and sort of going forward, I'm going to be putting more effort into that. In California specifically, there is a moratorium on foreclosures and evictions. So that means that there is a buildup of stuff that should be coming onto the market after that deadline passes, or if there's an extension, whenever that extension is up. Basically, there's landlords out there waiting to kick people out. That'll throw supply back onto the market. Supply shows up on the market, prices should drop. I just think as an occupier, your best bet is, if you have the time, wait. The chessboard is still being set right now. So if you have the time, there's no rush right now. History repeats itself, I guess, is a good way to phrase it. I think you'll see maybe not cubicles, but more space like cubicles. You're going to see less of the sort of co-working, cram as many people into a smaller footprint. It was already getting a little bit old prior to COVID. People were sort of sick of crawling over each other in co-working, or, people wanted more space. And sort of the collaboration narrative, I think, had sort of played itself out, and it just seemed like I think talent wanted more space. And in a market like LA, where talent is so competitive, you have to sort of give them what they want, or else they can go down the street to the next creative agency that will do so. So yes, they wanted more space. COVID is exacerbating that. The degree to which that increase in space is offset by the work from home dynamic is TBD. Like, sort of, I think the landlords are kind of hoping that it's going to be about an equal offset. I think footprints for occupiers are going to shrink. If I had to just ballpark guess, I would say maybe since COVID is the great accelerant, I'd say over the next 5 years, you might see average footprints decrease 20%. That's a real rough number, but I don't think it's going to be that's a big decrease, but it doesn't sound that big when I say it. But it's enough to really tear up some underwriting on some landlords' projections. Like, it's going to be a thing. I think the next 5 years it's going to be interesting, but I think footprints are going to decrease. You're going to see more work from home, more technology, trends. The narrative of COVID being the great accelerator is going to hold true. It's going to be big, but I don't think it's going to be earth shattering. I don't think you're going to see 90% of the workforce just commit to Zoom forever. You should be able to get it at a discount. In LA, the market, we're starting to see a lot of sublease. So that's, as an occupier, that's good, right? more supply means you get more to choose from. You get to sort of rake landlords over the coals and try and get your way and get more, get the lease set up and the rate and set it up more the way you want it, leverage swing towards the tenant. As a tenant trying to sublease, that's going to be hard. Be wary of brokers that tell you that it's going to be easy. Oh, we'll just throw it on the market and sublease it and no big deal. There's too much going on there. And unless, it's going to really have to stand out. And, going direct with the landlord, they're going to see that and they're going to be competitive. And, it's going to get competitive out there. So what I might suggest instead is, if you're sort of competent or confident about the health of your business, is look to do something directly with your landlord, some sort of like blend and extend, and sort of try and use all the levers at your disposal to not have to take that risk. It's just, as a broker, I've seen a lot of stuff sit out there on the sublease market and just waste away. And it's, as the sort of term on it shrinks, it gets harder and harder to do it. Like a 2-year sublease is one thing, but like if it doesn't lease for 9 months and then it turns into a 15-month sublease, that's a whole different ball game. And just, it gets tough. So if you can work something out where maybe you sign on for an extra 18 months with your landlord, maybe cut the rate a little bit and give back some of the space, so that, the total consideration, like they got bills to pay too. So I think a lot of people are going to be in survival mode going into the future. So if you can find something that lets everyone sort of pay their bills and take home a paycheck, at the end of the day, that might be good enough for everyone. And that way no one has to sort of stick their neck out and take too much risk.